Learn for the Trades, a home service podcast. I'm here with Sandy Papavero from CEO Warrior.
Yes,
and
thank
we're
you.
here at the Rilla convention together, just celebrating what Rilla has done for the industry. We're, a proud sponsee of Rilla, and they've helped us so much with the podcast and getting it out there. So we're really honored to be here. The best AI sales software in the entire world, in my opinion. And a big thank you to Grow Reviews, also a special sponsor of ours, and for supporting us along the way. I'm really excited to get into it with Sandy because we're both like sales girlies and psychology girlies,
yes.
But I'm on the side of, I own an electrical company, and she's on the side of helping people like me get past my barriers, which I have a lot of them. So I bet that you could diagnose me pretty nicely on this episode, just to show everybody what you can do for them personally, and possibly any leaders or managers that they have in the company. Yeah. So if you can you start with just a little background of like where you came from before CEO Warrior?
Sure. So when I was young, my dad and I had, and thank you for having me today, first and foremost. My dad and I had a construction company. We were flipping houses. I was cheap child labor.
Yeah.
And then he also was a financial advisor. So he had me cold calling at a really young age. So I had my jobs, and then
That's brilliant.
It was crazy. I mean, my parents were very into us working young and really learning, business ownership and taking accountability.
See, you having that experience in the grit in the field like that makes me want to listen to you 10 times more. Because as you know, like contractors are kind of like in like a club. Like if you haven't done the kind of grind, but you're trying to tell us about our psychology, there's a disconnect. So you having that background, to me, I really want to listen to you even more now. So
I love it. Well, I can paint this whole room without using any tape, right? So it's something I took away from it. My father was really about making sure that I became independent and didn't have to rely on anyone. He used to say if my sister and I were to get dropped off in the forest, that I would make it home and she wouldn't, right? So I spent a lot of time with him understanding, how to redo cars and again, it was good quality time with Dad.
Yeah.
And then the financial side came into play, and then I did work on Wall Street, and I went to go work for a company that was under $1 million and went to $65 million.
Wow.
So I fell in love with business and understanding the dynamic of how do you create that level of success?
Right.
What's the difference between myself and the next person? Why do I stay stuck and they keep moving forward?
Right. What are the patterns?
Right. What are the patterns?
And behavior and thought. And that's why, I think a lot of owners like Think and Grow Rich and stuff, because it's just a study of the most ultra successful people and the thought patterns that they have in common. So what are some of those thought patterns or those behaviors or traits that you see commonly in the most successful people, and can they be learned?
Yes, and a lot of it is, so I study adverse childhood experience, and I do a lot of transformational coaching. I have my certifications and all of those. And along my journey, I've had my own ups and downs of holding myself back, self-sabotage, really putting myself in a position where I would tell myself a story, and then your subconscious mind doesn't know if it's positive or negative or wrong from right.
Right.
So you will literally have a self-fulfilling prophecy of creating, see, I'm right.
Right.
And then you become that person because it's going to emerge from you. So I would say things like, well, I'm imposter syndrome, I'm not good enough to do this.
Right.
And you stay stuck. So the fear and reluctance, fear of rejection, fear of success. It comes true. So we do that, and a lot of it is done by us.
Okay.
So when you can emerge from what other people have told you as well. So the trauma base is big reality.
Right.
There's a lot of mental health that we don't talk about in the trades.
Yeah.
All over, but in the
trades. Because we're all like uncomfortable.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's okay because I've heard stories that will make your toes curl. We got to get past that in order to see ourselves as the identity of a successful business owner.
Right. So that's the new era. And that's where women are really helping out there.
Oh, man. I am such a woman in the trades kind of girl, and I think it's fantastic. And I am not. I'm a mom of 4 kids. So first and foremost, I'm a mother.
Right.
And my career was secondary. But again, with that independent attitude, saying, I don't want to be relying on anyone else for my livelihood. And that's why most people go into their trades business or business. My CEO is in the other room, so I'll say this lightly. I'm uncomfortable with taking the rule following, right? And a lot of these guys don't know how to run it, but they take the risk. So overthinkers, I will say this is one thing that I found with most people that we deal with that come out on the other side. And when we say success is different to everyone, when we think about what that looks like, everybody has their own version. When I work with business owners, I want to know what they're working for. Right? What's the why? What's your why?
Yeah.
And then how do we pull other employees into that vision?
I think that's the biggest thing too, is because a lot of owners I've met know their why right off the bat, and they don't know how to translate it. And a lot of their managers, like they're trying to replicate themselves as an owner to all of the managers. So how would you bridge that gap to get the leaders in the company that are not the owners up to like the highest standard that they could possibly be?
I love that. Good question. So what happens is if we can, I call it like a dream management. And I do a lot of sales training at CEO Warrior. And the reason that I do that is because I like them to see the missed opportunity and not to shame them.
Like a diagnostic?
Yes. Yeah. So I will look at it and say, okay, let's go left. What are your average tickets? What are your sales conversions? And that can go for anyone in your company. What are your KPIs? What are your booking rates? If you're a CSR, what does your call board look like? How do we attach it? So there's always an attachment.
Yeah.
So I want your painted vision for your company, right? You're going to look at that. It's going to be on the wall. And we all know what your vision is. How do I tie to that vision?
Right.
Because culture is everything.
Yeah.
Culture is everything to a company. And when I can tell you with an honest, because there's people who are like, oh, we have the best culture. And you come here and then you walk in the door and you just feel that intense pressure.
Yes.
Right.
It's like a kind of a mask of a culture, but then underneath is like deep resentment, and everybody's irritated with each other.
Right.
And
because of lack of leadership.
Yeah, because of lack of leadership. And what happens when, like I've seen, the first one where they can't translate to the managers. And then the second thing I've seen is where they temporarily translate it, but it doesn't last. It's not a permanent effect, like you're saying. Like maybe they have a meeting and they all connect to the why.
I love it.
And it doesn't continue for years, but it's like a couple weeks and then it fizzles out again and they're in the same spot. How do you make it permanent?
So we're going to be doing a mindset training with all of our warriors, and I do a lot of individualized work. Again, we'll go back and say, so now I'm attaching myself to my commission because my commission, if I'm in sales or anyone who's bonused, and everyone in your company should have some kind of bonus plan.
Yep.
When we have that, we look at them and we say, okay, what are we working for as an owner and as an employee? And now I'm going to align it with your dreams.
Right.
That's how we create a culture.
Yeah.
Now, when you take care of your employees, obviously, like we don't need kombucha on tap.
Yeah.
To have, a really great culture.
Rooms, yeah.
I will say my company that I worked for that went to 65 million, it was because of our culture. We were selling tangibles, just commodity.
Interesting.
Right. And so are all of you guys in the trades. Yeah. How do you make yourself break out from the commodity is, man, I love working for this company. You should come out of your service expert's mouth. If I heard that, I'm more likely to want to hire you than someone else coming in. So I'm going to go now to the second portion of what you said. Consistency, discipline, and action, habits. So in a really roundabout way, I want to find out what your day looks like. And I ask these questions not because, and I am trying to get into your head, but I will ask because people who have a consistent routine normally do better at being able to handle the behaviors of others. So if you're consistent, it's not about discipline, it's about consistency.
Right.
And how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you get up in the morning every day and you meditate, you journal, you go to the gym, what does that look like? We're able to keep repeating patterns that are emerging as success. And then everyone, or they're going to say, wow, look at Sandy. She's doing such a great job. I want to be like that.
Influence.
Like
true influence from your character and from what you're actually doing, but not just what you're saying in a meeting.
Yes.
A deeper level of that.
And the companies that do it really well, you'll watch them because I want to work for you to make you better. It's not that you're pulling up a truck and we're throwing thousands of dollars in the back, as an owner. We're taking care of the people that are in our world and we're getting the work done through our employees.
Yeah.
So why would we mistreat them or misrepresent them?
That's true.
I want to know who you are and how you fit in and how do you align with my company's goals.
Yeah, they might see, the technician as the enemy first before the technician saw the owner as the enemy. It may start with them, like everybody's against me sort of thing. And the best example of this that I could think of is like Chad Peterman. Peterman brothers.
Yeah, I know them.
He like with the consistency thing. I think he writes letters to his technicians. He's written like thousands of letters every morning at like 4 a.m. or something. He writes like handwritten letters and writes messages to his entire team.
I love that.
And he's been doing that every day for years consistently. And he's at over 100 million. You know what I mean? And he has over 500 employees.
But everybody wants to feel significant.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, that's Maslow's hierarchy of the 6 things that we all want out of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And we run from uncertainty and we move towards significance.
Right.
So the pain, the pleasure principle kind of goes hand in hand. When you are inspired, and I want to know how do you want to work for me? That's a question I do on every interview, especially anyone that's coming. I want to know the characteristics of the people that I want to fit into my team based on who I am as a leader.
Right.
Not even the owner, but as a leader. If I were hiring you.
Okay.
And then I want to ask you, how do you want to be treated as my employee?
Right.
I've never been asked that.
Tell sort of thing, yeah.
Don't sell me. Sell me about your dream.
Yeah.
Sell me a dream. Sell me on your dream for your company, and I want to be excited about going to work for you.
Solid, yeah.
Right? And then I can understand success is going to come. It leaves clues. And then as we pick up these pieces of why some people don't succeed, it's not about throwing money at people. It's you told me that you're motivated by money. That's fine. Not everyone is.
Right.
But I want to be inspired.
Right. Me too.
I don't motivate me because motivation wanes. I want inspire me.
I want to give a special shout out to Rilla, the sales coaching AI software that holds the technicians accountable and gives them the support and guidance they need to maximize all the opportunities you spend your hard-earned money on.
I want to give special shout out to Grow Reviews, one of our sponsors, America's first platform to capture instant text and video reviews. If a picture is 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. Book a demo with Grow Reviews by visiting website www.growreviews.com, and you can get in touch with their sales reps to book a demo.
Yeah.
Chad Peterman would inspire the hell out of me every day.
Exactly.
That would be incredible for me to say, what is going to be today's message?
Yeah.
Because that truly shows, and I'm not saying, but you should care. And I want to know that you care more than any other organization. Because if you're treating me that way, I in turn are treating your external clients with that kind of care.
Yeah, it starts inside.
Shit rolls downhill. I can swear on this, right?
So when somebody detects a problem in their company, right? And by the way, you have a background with Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And learning their processes, and which is so important because a lot of owners are looking at those processes, but it's helpful when it's more relevant to home services, and that's kind of where you come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put all of these things together to make it relevant for the owners here without them just kind of running to a Tony Robbins conference by themselves and then trying to connect it to their company.
Oh my
so
gosh,
you're like
right.
bridging the gap between those two things, which is great. So like when somebody finds a problem, whether it's within themselves, which it should be within yourself,
internally,
right, or with their managers or leaders that they want to, they want to get coaching from that for them. They want to have a meeting with you. Mm-hmm. How would they go from their problem and to their solution? Like, what's the process?
Oh, I love that.
The next steps.
So the reality is that most of us are very unaware of what's going on inside us, and we mirror off of each other.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things we don't like about someone else is because we don't like them within ourselves. It's called shadow work.
Yeah.
Very deep work. Projection. Right. And we don't know we do it. Again, it's on a subconscious level. So when we look at someone and we can say, oh, this is, I have a very good read on people. It's the sixth sense. Of growing up in an uncertain home, I would say. Mm-hmm. And everyone has a different set of skills. And we asked about what made you so special and how you got to where. And a lot of us whom are successful had to overcome an obstacle.
Yeah.
So I want to find out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And then I want to tie it together with where you want to be and what's holding you back. I ask very deliberate questions. Uh-huh. So it presents itself as symptoms. And then I have to get to the root cause.
The root of the problem through maybe patterns
of behavior, understanding, asking the right questions. People will say, well, I need more leads. Do you need more leads, or do you need to sell the leads that you have? Right? Or do we need branding?
Yeah.
Do we need, who are you to the industry?
Right.
So it's really, they don't need more leads. You just are not authentic.
You hear that, salespeople? It's the
Right.
most annoying thing.
It's
I need
awful.
more leads. It's
I mean,
you want to burn through more leads.
Well,
Right?
how are we putting ourselves out there to get leads? Are we
Yeah.
expecting Google just to throw us leads, or are we doing this kind of work?
Are we creating 5 leads out of 1 lead because we're door knocking the neighborhood when we do an install?
Right, I love it.
Right? It's
the
like,
digital door knocking too. Think about digital door knocking, where I'm going to Mrs. Smith's house and I reach out to the 5 people who are around her area before I go to the appointment.
That's brilliant.
And then I have the ability to say, well, I'm going to be in the area and we're offering, but everybody just wants to throw coupons instead of giving the value behind it.
Totally.
And that's weak to me.
Yeah.
So salespeople that don't have the proper presentation or sell on price, we haven't delivered any value. And that's where I know you have fear of rejection, fear of uncomfortable, you have inner confidence issues.
So you can work with salespeople too.
Oh, I train the salespeople all day long.
Brilliant. So like whether you're an owner,
everyone
leader,
in the company,
CSRs, CSR.
dispatch, leadership, operations.
Do you do groups or do you do individuals?
Everything. If you're an owner and you say, well, I have someone on JC on my team, she needs some extra work. I'm going to go in and understand. Let's role play. Let's role play it out, whether it's sales, CSR. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a checkup from the neck up.
Sure.
Right? And we got to get you in a better space.
Therapist you are. You're like a,
you're
like a business therapist. I
Think
love
about if I can mind shift you, because our thoughts create our reality.
Yeah.
So when we're young, in the time, and I'm not going to go deep into the neuroscience behind it, but it creates wiring. And we operate from that spectrum. And in order for us to change who we inherently are, we have to see ourselves in a new identity.
Yeah.
And that takes mind shifting.
Yeah.
And that's not an overnight process, but
it's more than I'll change this one little thing that for some reason I can't change because I'm stuck. It's like I need to be different, like on a deeper level, like be an actual different person. On a psychological level, and that's when real change happens. So like this sounds brilliant, because like most companies are stuck in the rut, especially psychologically, that I visit and stuff like that. So who is the best candidate? Like paint a picture of where they're at right now and what kind of things they're noticing going on in the company that might be a good fit to get to the point to work with you. Who would that ideal person look like that could benefit from your services? I bet everyone can, but the most ideal.
Number one, coachable, and someone who really realizes that they have to put some work in.
They have to know they have a problem to get to a solution.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a problem. And there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
So everyone, even if you're a star athlete, you still have a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 52. I've had a coach since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And not in sports, but in life.
Right.
In business. And I still do to this day, because I'm always looking for ways to be better.
Right.
And so we have both sides of the coin. I really would prefer if clients don't come to us when the needle's in so deep that because now we're your only way out.
Yeah.
And we're not miracle workers.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are good.
Yeah, that's honest.
Right? But there has to be a process to where you're going. That owner's journey will emerge as time goes on. And it's about how fast you implement.
Right.
Right? And then you know how to course correct.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I see that more than likely. Most of our clients come to us and they say, where conversions are only at 70%, how do I get them to 80? I want to become a leader. What does those qualities look like? I call it modeling.
Yeah.
Who is a person like a Chad Peterman that you want to become more like, and what do they embody?
Right.
Who are they? How do they walk? What do they eat? What do they talk like? How do they treat their people? What is their life? That model will help you create a different identity, so it's like a 2.0.
Yeah, I guess Chad Peterman would be my He's like the first person I think about.
You keep thinking about
it.
it.
Consistency, as a quiet confidence, a humility. He's a very humble leader. He's not like most. He's just very quiet and humble and just even keel.
I think that's fantastic.
It's amazing.
Humility is a key to life.
Yeah.
And I would know how to coach you just by our short conversation today, because I listen to your language.
Yeah.
I'm a neuro-linguistic practitioner. So for me, I listen to the mind and the body and the language.
Give me a diagnostic.
So the diagnostic.
You could be mean if you want.
I'm not being mean at all. We had a really great conversation prior to coming on.
Yeah.
What I know is somewhere along the line, I knew that you overcame an obstacle. And that was the first thing and then you were so vulnerably, shared with me that where you came from. So for me, I would want to know where your success was. you are always striving for more. You never want to go back to who you were. You changed. You will lose the place where you once were to get to where you need to go. And you have no doubt in your mind that you will keep creating success for yourself.
Yeah. They know that's true because they know the details actually more than technically you did in our conversation. Okay. Accurate diagnostic. So it's like, so if somebody wants to chat with you to see if it's a good fit, if they're ready to be willing to actually do something like this, to have a change in their personal lives or their company's lives, what is the best way for them to reach out to you, and can they have a meeting with you?
Sure. So we offer 30-minute strategy sessions.
Oh, great.
I love doing that because it gets us to the point where I'm understanding the opportunities that lie within you and within your company.
Okay.
So I don't like to call it, I will say, what are some of your challenges? I don't want to go to the struggle. It really is an opportunity.
Sure.
So they have a 30-minute strategy session where we're going to uncover some things. I'm going to offer you a solution if need be, and I'm going to give you some takeaways that we can implement tomorrow.
Great.
Right. So that strategy, they can go to ceowarrior.com. Go to what we offer. You'll be able to book a session.
You can message her on Facebook too.
Messenger, Sandy Papavero. Go to Messenger on Facebook.
We're going to put the link to the 30-minute meeting or the page for that underneath the video. So if you want to book a meeting with Sandy, like I probably will,
fantastic.
Then click the link below the video. And thank you so much for having this talk with me. And I just think it's so valuable, and it's exactly what we need in the industry is what you're doing. So thank you for all that you do. And thank you to everybody that supports us and all of our listeners, Rilla for sponsoring us and throwing this badass convention that we have today.
So fun,
and
right?
We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.